Doctor Who's Matt Smith will portray Prince Daemon Targaryen in The House of the Dragon, a prequel series set 200 years before the events of HBO's enormously successful Game of Thrones. The series will be based on George R.R. Martin's 2018 novel Fire and Blood and will center on House Targaryen and its civil conflict known as the Dance of the Dragons. Here's what we know about his injuries during filming. While filming House of the Dragon, Matt Smith suffered a neck injury. Because Matt Smith was hurt while doing a stunt for House of the Dragon, it seems that he did at least part of his own stunts for the film, despite the fact that many actors hire stunt doubles for sequences requiring physical movement or the possibility of danger. According to a Hollywood Reporter article about the production, Smith damaged a disc in his neck while shooting a stunt for the program. According to the magazine, the actor continued to get physical therapy for his injuries even after the shooting was over. It's a pain in the neck, literally, medically, and metaphorically, Smith said of the injury. According to the narrative, Smith worked through his agony to finish his segment of the filming. There was no indication of what Smith was doing when he was hurt, but it does suggest that Daemon Targaryen's situation may be deteriorating during season 1 of Game of Thrones. Following what many perceive to be a poor final season of Game of Thrones, the prequel series has the potential to win back viewers who believe the original show ended on a sour note. This is because the prequel series takes place prior to the events of the original program. The House of the Dragon will air on HBO on August 21st, 2022, and we'll find out what happens then. Moving on, what do we know about the House of the Dragon plot? The program is based on George R.R. Martin's first book, Fire and Blood, which delves into Targaryen history. The prequel, according to HBO, takes place hundreds of years before the events shown in Game of Thrones. During this time, Aegon the Conqueror, the first of 3 centuries of Targaryen monarchs, unified 6 of Westeros' 7 kingdoms. The series will most likely center on the First Targaryen Civil War, often known as the Dance of the Dragons, based on what we know about the characters. During this dance, which took place more than a century after Aegon's reign, dragons became extinct until Daenerys hatched 3 centuries later. By introducing us to some of our important protagonists, the House of the Dragon film emphasizes how fast a cool fight may become heated. At the San Diego Comic-Con, the footage was shown in a slightly, and we mean much longer, expanded form. A previously published trailer also puts us in the middle of the action. History does not remember blood, the slogan says. It is capable of remembering names. That gives us shivers. HBO has just published new character images for its major cast members. On these posters, each character's role in the program is summarized in one sentence. All of the new House of the Dragon posters are available right here. Finally, HBO's official logline summarizes the show. The series, based on George R.R. Martin's Fire and Blood, tells the story of House Targaryen 200 years before the events of Game of Thrones. The canceled direct sequel followed. There is no link between this program and the other Game of Thrones prequel that HBO rejected. In contrast to House of the Dragon, which was picked up on a straight-to-order basis, this series had a plot episode made for it. The narrative, unofficially titled Blood Moon, takes place in the distant past, during the enigmatic period when Westeros' Age of Heroes gave way to the First Long Night. It happened several thousands of years ago. What do we know about what happens behind the scenes? George R.R. Martin and Colony's Ryan Condal collaborated to create the series. The latter will script for the show, as well as serve as co-runner with Miguel Sapochnik, a seasoned director who has worked on past seasons of Game of Thrones. Sapochnik directed some of the most significant and well-known episodes of the original series. Some of his credits include Hard Home, The Winds of Winter, The Long Night, and The Battle of Bastards, for which he won an Emmy for directing. He will direct the premiere episode of House of the Dragon, as well as subsequent episodes. In terms of music, it is clear that the prequel will be able to live up to the original series standards. Ramin Djawadi, who won an Emmy for his work on Game of Thrones, will return to Westeros to score House of the Dragon. The cast of House of the Dragon is up next. Like all of Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire novels and its HBO forerunner, House of the Dragon has a vast ensemble cast. The first cast member was Paddy Considine. He plays King Viserys I, who died before the result of the succession battle was known. Olivia Cook, Matt Smith, and Emma Darcy portray 3 important roles in the events that forced the schism between the Targaryens. Alicent Hightower, King Viserys I's second wife, plotted to put her son on the Iron Throne. Smith is Daemon Targaryen, Viserys' brother. Princess Rhaenyra Targaryen marries Daemon, the intended heir of her father. Steve Toussaint portrayed Lord Corlys Velaryon, or the Sea Snake. Eve Best played Princess Rhaenys Velaryon. Rhys Ifans played King Otto Hightower's hand. And Sonia Mizuno played Massaria. Sir Criston Cole of Dorne will be played by Fabian Frankel. Several hints may be found on George R.R. Martin's blog. The most recent casting announcement includes includes a Lannister from one of the great Westerosi houses. Sir Harold Westerling will be played by Graham McTavish. Sir Harwin Breakbone Strong will be played by Ryan Corr. Lord Jason Lannister will be played by Jefferson Hall. Grandmaster Milos will be played by David Horovich. Laris Strong will be played by Matthew Needham. Lord Lyman Beesbury will be played by Bill Patterson. And Lord Lionel Strong will be played by Gavin Spokes. Rhaenyra and Alicent are played by Millie Alcock and Emily Carey, respectively. Bethany Antonia, Phoebe Campbell, Harry Collette, Tom Glenn Carney, Will Johnson, John McMillan, Ewan Mitchell, Thea Saban, Gavin Spokes, and Savannah Stern are among the cast members. Moving on, when can we expect The House of the Dragon to be released? HBO has commissioned 10 episodes of the new drama House of the Dragon, similar to the first few seasons of Game of Thrones. During a press tour organized by the Television Critics Association in 2020, Casey Bloys, an HBO supervisor, predicted that the series will launch in 2022. Bloys announced to Entertainment Weekly in February of this year that filming for the series will begin in April, and he wasn't lying. On April 26th, the House of the Dragon Twitter account was launched, and photographs of Darcy, Toussaint, Considine, Smith, and Cook attending the first table read were released. The program's production may now be deemed to have begun. Following that, we will discuss what we know about Princess Rhaenyra Targaryen. According to showrunners Ryan Condal and Miguel Sapochnik, Emma Darcy's Princess Rhaenyra is the most important character in the series. Rhaenyra was working as a cupbearer for her father, King Viserys I, and riding her dragon, Syrax, at an early age, while other young girls were learning to embroider. At the beginning of House of the Dragon, Millie Alcock will play a younger Rhaenyra. Viserys names his daughter as the next king, but the matter becomes complex when the queen births a son, splitting the royal house over succession. She is pushing the boundaries of femininity and has a very clear interrogative eye for how gender influences power, how one may occupy space, and even the right to construct one's own life. Darcy tells EW she is someone who is at odds with how the rest of the world sees her. It's as if she had a twin, they claim. The doppelganger is Rhaenyra, born man, who has access to whatever she wants and feels she is entitled to. Finally, some information on King Viserys Targaryen I. This Viserys is not the same as the Viserys introduced in the first episode of Game of Thrones in 2011. King Viserys I was able to contribute to the continuation of Westeros' era of peace, which has now lasted more than 70 years. However, this is not an entirely favorable development. Viserys is the kind of monarch who avoids upsetting feathers, and even those in his own family, and this includes when it comes to politics. We created a slogan for him that he's a great person, horrible king, recalls Paddy Considine, well known for her parts in The World's End and The Outsider. He just wants to please people and keep the peace, Considine says. Viserys, on the other hand, is a narcissist. Even though he's going through a difficult period in his life, a part of him wonders, how will I be remembered in the hundreds of years to come? They will have no memory of peaceful rulers. They can't think of any kind people. They honor those who fought valiantly. They remember the tyrants. That brings us to the conclusion of our video for today. We hope you enjoyed it. On your way out, don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this in the future. Thanks for your time.